This video is for first grade lesson 5 and I'll be going over each of the sections, solving some problems to help you understand how to solve questions in this worksheet. The first section is about addition and I will start off with number 1. Number 1 says 5 plus 8 and we'll be using one of the easiest way to solve addition problems, which is by using steps. I will start off by writing 5 and drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps to the right. We would have to find this underlined value, which would give you the answer. The next is really simple. You just have to count. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. See, now we have the value on top of the underline, which is 13. We know that 5 plus 8 is equal to 13. Let's try another question. 14, now using a different method. So for 12 plus 17, we'll be using a vertical method. You will just have to write 12 plus 17. You just have to make sure that the ones placed, 2 and 7, line up together here. And the tens place, 1 and 1, line up together over here. Let's start by adding the ones placed together, which is 2 and 7. 7 moving 2 steps forward would give you 9. So we know that 2 plus 7 is 9. And 1 plus 1 is just 1 and 1 step forward, which would give you 2. So we know that the answer for 14 is 29. Now let's move on to the next section, which is subtraction. Subtraction, we can use the same method again, and I'll be showing you how to use those methods to do subtraction, starting with number 2. Number 2 is 7 minus 4. And for this one, we would also start off by the first number, which is 7. And now we would move 4 steps to the left instead of right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's not adding but subtracting. And from here, you would have to count backwards, which would give you the answer. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We know that 7 minus 4 is 3. Let's try number 9. The next method that I'm going to use is something that we haven't used before, and it's using circles. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles in total, and we're going to subtract the 2 from it. 1, 2. And when we count the left circles, there are 4. So we know that the answer for 9, which is 6 minus 2, is equal to 4. Let's try number 13. Using the vertical method, remember to line up the tens and ones together. 8 minus 3 is 5. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So we know that the answer for 13 is just 5. Let's move on to the third section, which is a measurement. And we're going to do number 1 and 2 together. And for number 1, it starts off at 0 and it ends at 2. We would just have to count the length of it, so it would be 1, 2 steps. So we know that it's 2 centimeters. Then for the next question, we see a long pencil, and we would also have to measure from the end where it starts and to the end point. When we count, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we know that the length of the pencil is 12 centimeters long. You just have to do this for the rest of the 3 questions. And now let's move on to the last section of this worksheet, which is the word problems. We're going to solve the last question together because it seems the most difficult. And number 4, before we start the question, I just have to make correction. And it's supposed to be 4 yellow buttons instead of 4 yellow blue buttons. So just cross that out. And it says Peter and Hannah collects buttons. There are 16 red buttons, 4 yellow buttons, 5 blue buttons, and 3 black buttons. How many buttons are there in total? So there are 4 types of buttons, and we have to get the total amount, which means we have to add all of these different colored buttons together. Let's start off by adding 16 and 4. 16 plus 4. 4 plus 6 is equal to 10. So we would write the 0 below the 6 and 4 and write 1 on top of the 1 over here. And then we would have to add these 2 together, just like how we added these 2. We're going to add these 2 together. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So we know that 16 plus 4 is equal to 20. Now we have done red and yellow buttons. We would have to add the 5 blue buttons to this 20. So 20 plus 5. Start by adding the 0 and 5 together, which is just 5. And since there's nothing in front of 5, it's just 2 plus 0, which is equal to 2. Lastly, we would have to add the 3 black buttons to 25, which is at the sum of all red, yellow, and blue buttons. So we would do 25 plus 3. 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. And since there's nothing in front of the 3, it's just 2 plus 0, which is equal to 2. So we know that there are 28 buttons in total. That will be your answer for number 4.